Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's journey since stepping away from royal life deserves to be understood with empathy, context, and honesty, not through the narrow lens of regret or second-guessing. 6 years on, it is easy for commentators to look back and suggest they might feel remorse. But what often gets ignored is why they left in the first place and what they have built since then. Their decision was not a reckless escape, but a deliberate act of self-preservation, protection of mental health, and commitment to raising their family in a healthier environment. When Harry and Meghan chose to step back from their roles, the atmosphere surrounding them had become unbearable. Meghan faced relentless and often cruel media scrutiny that went far beyond fair criticism. Harry, shaped deeply by the loss of his mother and the press harassment that contributed to it, could see history repeating itself. For him, this was not drama or melodrama. It was fear grounded in lived experience. A husband choosing to protect his wife and children should never be mocked for that instinct. Much has been made of the emotional tone Harry used when explaining their departure. Critics describe it as dramatic, yet emotion does not equal dishonesty. Harry was speaking as a man under immense pressure, leaving behind his home country, his military patronages, and the institution he was born into. Anyone who expects calm detachment in such a moment is ignoring basic human reality. Emotional honesty should be respected, not weaponized. The Queen's response at the time was firm, and rightly so, because she was protecting the institution she had served her entire life. But firm does not mean heartless, and it does not mean Harry intended to hurt her. Harry has repeatedly spoken of his love and respect for his grandmother. Two things can be true at once. He could love her deeply and still believe that the system around her was harming his family. That tension is painful, but it does not make him malicious. The idea that Harry and Meghan regret leaving royal life also ignores the growth they have experienced since then. Harry has continued his lifelong commitment to service through the Invictus Games, mental health advocacy, and charitable initiatives that focus on veterans, children, and community resilience. These are not the actions of a man lost or aimless. They are the actions of someone redefining service on his own terms. Meghan, meanwhile, has carved out a space that reflects her values and creativity. Her lifestyle brand, as ever, is not about shallow celebrity branding. It is about intentional living, storytelling, and reconnecting with joy and authenticity. Meghan has always been a woman with a strong sense of purpose, and building something of her own allows her to express that without the suffocating constraints she faced before. Estrangement from family is one of the most painful experiences a person can go through. Harry's distance from his father and brother is not something he celebrates. He has been open about wanting peace, not conflict. Wanting reconciliation does not mean he believes he was wrong to leave. It means he understands that life is short and relationships matter. That is emotional maturity, not regret. It is also important to remember that reconciliation is a two-way street. Harry has expressed a desire to stop fighting, but that does not mean ignoring past harm or pretending nothing happened. True reconciliation requires accountability, empathy, and willingness from all sides. The burden cannot rest solely on Harry to make peace at the expense of his truth. Many royal commentators frame Harry's desire for reconciliation as weakness or longing to return to royal privilege. That narrative is deeply unfair. Harry has repeatedly said he does not want to go back to the old system. What he wants is family connection, safety, and understanding. Those are universal human desires, not royal ambitions. Meghan is often conspicuously left out of conversations about reconciliation, as if she is an obstacle rather than a partner. This framing is not accidental. Meghan has long been portrayed as the problem simply for existing confidently and independently. In reality, she has supported Harry's healing journey and encouraged him to confront pain rather than suppress it. That is not divisive. That is supportive partnership. The suggestion that they could have done things differently with hindsight may be true in small, practical ways, as it is for anyone navigating crisis. But hindsight should not erase context. They were under siege, dealing with unprecedented pressure, racism, misinformation, and lack of institutional protection. Expecting perfect decision-making in such circumstances is unrealistic and unfair. Harry's reflections about life being precious and short show how much he has grown. Losing his grandparents, becoming a father, and confronting trauma have clearly reshaped his priorities. Wanting peace does not mean surrender. It means choosing emotional health over endless conflict. That is strength. What Harry and Meghan have shown over the past 6 years is resilience. They have faced lawsuits, public attacks, professional risks, and personal losses, yet they continue to focus on service, creativity, and family. They have not retreated into bitterness. They have built a life that aligns with their values. It is also worth asking why the conversation so often centres on whether Harry and Meghan regret leaving, rather than whether the institution regrets failing them. Why is the focus not on the systems that allowed hostility and neglect to flourish? Accountability should not be one-sided. If Harry does return to the UK more often in the future, it does not mean he is crawling back. It means he is reclaiming his right to belong to his homeland without sacrificing his well-being. Loving your country does not require enduring harm within its institutions. The Sussex story is not one of regret. It is one of transformation. It is about breaking cycles, choosing love over duty when duty becomes destructive, and redefining what service looks like in the modern world. Harry and Meghan did not abandon service. They liberated it. As time passes, the noise will fade, but the impact of their choices will remain. They have sparked global conversations about mental health, media ethics, racism, and the cost of silence. Those conversations matter far more than palace approval or tabloid headlines. Harry wanting reconciliation is not a contradiction of his past decisions. It is a continuation of his growth. Meghan building her brand is not frivolous. It is empowerment. Together they represent a future where compassion, honesty, and courage take precedence over rigid tradition. If there is one thing to take from this chapter of their lives, it is that choosing yourself and your family is never something to regret. Harry and Meghan chose life, safety, and truth. And that choice, no matter how uncomfortable it made others, was the right one.